Can you think of a rule? Lots of places have rules like no running in the hallway, or no loud talking in the library, or maybe there are some rules in your house like always clean up your dishes after dinner. Well, a commandment is a lot like a rule, and God gave us 10 special commandments to follow. Let's take a look at them. The story of the Ten Commandments starts in Exodus, where Moses is leading a group of people called the Israelites away from Egypt. God gave Moses the Ten Commandments to share with the Israelites because God wanted them to live good lives. God also wanted them to have a good relationship with Him and with others. This is why it's important to follow God's commandments, to have a good relationship with God and with others. Now, let's take a look at the idea of what each of the 10 commandments has to say. The first commandment says that you shall have no other gods besides the one God. This means, while there are a lot of important things in our lives, like our family and friends, God asks to be the number one most important thing to us. The second commandment says, do not worship anything else other than God. It's okay to like lots of things, like your favorite video games or TV shows, but you only worship God. The third commandment tells us to treat the name of God with respect. Never use God's name as a way to show anger or disrespect. The fourth commandment tells us to have a special day each week to rest and think about God. Lots of people use Sunday as their day to rest, go to church, and think about God. The fifth commandment says to honor your father and your mother. This means that you should treat your parents, or the people in charge of you at home, with respect and love. The sixth commandment says that you should not hurt others. This commandment reminds us that hurting or fighting is never the answer. The seventh commandment relates to relationships. God asks that we always keep our promise and remain loyal in our relationships. This commandment is important for when you get older and enter into relationships, and if you get married. The eighth commandment says that you shall not steal. Taking what does not really belong to you is wrong. The ninth commandment tells us to always tell the truth. Telling the truth and not lying is very important. The 10th commandment states that we shall not be envious of others. This means that we should not want what others have, and we should not be jealous of them. Now that we've seen the 10 commandments, let's think about them in our own lives. Can you think of a situation where it would be important to follow commandment number 9? Always tell the truth. Here's something I thought of. I've found that whenever I'm in a little bit of trouble, it never helps to lie. Actually, lying always makes things even worse and creates more trouble. Yeah, if you're ever in trouble or in any situation, it's always important to tell the truth. Yeah, and it's always a good idea to think about what God wants for us and to follow His commandments. Now, here's a song about God's commandments.
I will try to follow God's commands. I will always do the best I can. I will try to follow God's commands. I will always do the best I can. God made some rules, and God wants me to be a person who follows those rules God gave me. He knows what's best and He knows what's right. God can help me live in the light. I will try to follow God's commands. I will always do the best I can. I will try to follow God's commands. I will always do the best I can.
Nice work. Try to remember God's commandments when you make choices every day. All right, see you later.
Hey!